Since the beginning of time, all of humanity has argued over the existence of a god. In fact, there are over 4,000 religions in the world and over 18,000 different entities worshipped by humans. But in a certain style of game, no matter what religion you are, no matter who you call god, suddenly you are god. That is the life simulation genre in a nutshell. Not always. Stardew Valley is also technically a life sim, Animal Crossing, Coral Island, but for a game like The Sims, there's no denying that that's what it is and why people play it. Some people are really intrigued by that type of game where there's no clear objective and it's kind of up to you to make your own fun, whereas other people are like, give me a list of tasks or I won't know what to do with myself. Whether you're the first type or the second, I think that Paralives might have something to offer you. It's an indie life simulation game, but it's not just a recreation of The Sims 4. There are a lot of differences I want to talk about today, as well as what to look forward to, give you a gameplay overview, and let you in on all the little tidbits that you might have missed. My name's Juniper. I cover all things indie games, game development. Let's dive in. When you first make a person, which is called a para, you get to customize them with a whole lot of arrows in a whole lot of places. Muscle, fat, you can extend various limbs, stretch things around. I'm gonna go Ark Survival on this thing. So hard. Even maybe Pal World it up if I will. And there's a height slider, which is crazy. The whole reason that The Sims didn't do that is because you'd have to think of all the animations that would have to optimize for it. I don't know how Paralives is gonna even do that, but that'll be awesome to see. Looks so far like your max height is 2 meters. Unfortunately, we are not using freedom units, but if we were, that's like 6'5". When you make a character, you also get to pick a vibe, which is the most Gen Z thing I've ever seen. You can be serious, overjoyed, grumpy, gloomy, anxious, peaceful, or jester, which it's kind of funny that one isn't an adjective. Personally, I'm hoping that they add vibes like British, stupid, lactose intolerant. All this customization is cool because the vibe that you choose will actually develop into their personality over time. So if you choose seriousness, then you'll perform actions, level up, and then you can advance your seriousness in your life, which sounds horrible, but you can do it. In The Sims, you just kind of spawn into the ether with your entire personality. You're kind of just like a Rizzler straight out the womb. So I imagine that this system is going to make gameplay feel a lot more meaningful and like it's actually building towards something. Relationships and conversations are going to be the same way. They level up slowly over time, and it's up to you where you want to take them. Obviously, there's romance. We were shown our girl Anissa being an absolute Chad at the gym, going up to Carl, and you know, love at first sight. She's got a secret crush. It's probably good that the roles were not reversed in that situation. It's cool that you can declare that she has a crush and make it known to the game instead of just doing the story in your head like you kind of have to in The Sims sometimes. But we get to watch this girl's relationship flourish. I mean, she's gassing him up, serenading him, and eventually, whoa, he asks if she wants a job, which, by the way, is absolutely illegal and definitely a conflict of interest, but anyway, good for her. And how cool is it that Carl himself asked? Not us, not the player, but Carl. Oh, voice crack. In other words, Carl has free will. If you've never played The Sims, then that doesn't make any sense what I'm saying here. In The Sims, you have to carry the social burden of every interaction. You just gotta live your life being the only one ever initiating a date with your partner, the only one ever asking them to move in, even having that conversation, the only one ever asking your friends to hang out. If I've ever been friends with someone for a little while, I will normally stop asking them to hang out. I'll stop texting them first. And then if it gets to be like 2 months before we've actually done anything because I haven't initiated it, then I just say goodbye to that friendship. So thankfully in Paralives we do not have to have that burden, and we can also successfully rizz ourselves up the corporate ladder, so congratulations everybody, this is big news. Speaking of jobs, going to work is for now a rabbit hole, meaning that your character goes off into the abyss for 8 hours and then comes back richer. Our girl is a barista at Creme Cafe, and she's gonna get paid in what looks like dollars, by the way. There's no made-up currency in this game to my knowledge, which I thought was interesting, especially considering that for an 8-hour shift, Anissa bagged $165, which is about $21 for an entry position. So I can't wait until this game comes out in 2025, and it turns out that it was an accurate model for inflation this entire time. And in 20 years, we'll be like, damn, only $21 an hour? I make $30 for my job, and in my 200 square foot apartment, I gotta pay $5,000 a month for it. Anyway, to get jobs, you have to build up a skill in advance, which is kind of like The Sims. If you want a promotion as a chef, you gotta build up your cooking skill on your own time. It's gonna be neat to see how many job options are available and skills and all that. It's probably not gonna be a lot, but I'm sure those will come later. My favorite part of playing The Sims was making money in all the alternative ways, like off the grid, so I'd become a pro fisherman, street performing violinist, painter, and honestly I like that a lot more because you didn't just get sucked away into the void to do your work, but obviously it's kind of hard to program that, so I don't blame them. We do know that music is a skill that you can have, and you're gonna level up in it like anything else. As you get better, you start to sound less horrible. We got a video going over the progression of piano skills, so you start here. Then you start to suck a little less. And then you become so good that you don't even need to look at the notes that you're playing. You don't even need to have your fingers on the notes to play them right. By the way, little Juniper lore here. I love classical music so much that with a maybe 50% accuracy rate, I can listen to a classical piece and either tell you who made it or what the song is. So this one was Gymnopédie by Eric Satie. This one was Nocturne by Chopin. And this one was Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. Thank you. Thank you. I never said I could pronounce them all right. I doubt I did, but thank you. And this song. Whoa, what is that? That's a banger soundtrack I hear. Oh my gosh, it's coming from the club in Pixedom, who I thank for partnering with me on this video. In Pixedom, you get to live out all your 2010s MMO dreams and explore a beautiful pixel art world. You can customize a character, meet a bunch of cool people, design an apartment, play minigames, and a whole lot more to come. Designing an apartment was by far my favorite part of the process. You start with this little sensory deprivation chamber looking thing, and 15 minutes later, you got yourself a snazzy little den. Pixedom is also made by one single person, this guy, Absolute G, which is very inspiring if you are also a game developer. They've got a thriving community over on their Discord, which you can join in the description or by going to pixedom.com. Before we dive into build mode, I want to go over a few more things that we know about our paras here. First off, they've got a wide range of emotions and lots of animations. Walking, running like you have to pee, running like you really have to pee, and actually peeing, which it looks like they're deciding on a sensor for. We got all these really fun options. Of course, you've also got all the animations for playing guitar, working out, all these little niche things, and you can cue all of those things together by dragging your mouse across everybody. Why on earth the Sims have not done that, I have not a clue. This is already a great system, gonna be way better than trying to wrangle your people into a group conversation. You can talk together or work out together on the floor of your kitchen. That girl did one push-up and went, don't make me do that shit again. We got a glimpse of what their language sounds like too. In The Sims we have Simlish, and in Paralives we have Parley, I think. It sounds like this.
Picala.
Puki.
Milo.
Kiku.
Aha. Kigi.
Amakapi.
Bito.
Aha.
Skippy.
Pichi.
Nani. Pukita. Spichu.
Oh, that was definitely a slur.
Taki. Nipa.
The language seems to be very blunt, very brief, but you know, I like it. It complements the music, which I'll give you for like 10 seconds here. It's almost as good as the music that we got in this teaser clip, which shows our friend Roger dying a painful death of starvation, and the entire time it sounds like this. Bumping it till his last breath. It looks like he's in a house too, which is thanks to build mode. Nothing new to any simulation game, but impressive to code in a game nonetheless. If you're a game developer, which, hi, by the way, you should check out all my game development videos, then you know how hard collisions are and how stupid it feels to set it up for every single thing in your game. Build mode takes that to an extreme, and doing it without a grid, like in this teaser, makes it even more crazy. And what I mean by that is that in The Sims when you build, things fall into a grid because that way it's pretty logical to then have a grid that the Sims are on, and you get how it would be easier because it's a much more systematic approach. But Paralives is like, we don't even need that. You can put your stuff anywhere. In other words, the level of detail is insane. Every window you can caress into a beautiful little shape, every wall. It looks like a simple but very detailed system, which is going to be so nice. I never got amazing at building in The Sims, but giving the mode a slightly more cartoony look that's not as visually overwhelming and the buttons are clearer is going to make my silly brain a lot happier and a lot more likely to actually build my own stuff, instead of just importing it all from the gallery and calling it a day. You know what else is cool? There are color wheels for everything. Those tiny little details are going to make building a lot more fun. Customization in any game is an absolute W from a design perspective. Give the player the ability to choose even the small things like the direction of tile, and they will be a happy little lamb. It's smart as well from a development perspective because instead of having 6,000 windows of all different sizes, you can have one window that can be any size. Instead of 300 suit patterns, you can have one suit and you can mix and match the patterns and colors. Obviously, I think they're gonna add more window designs and more suits, but very smart, very cool of the developers. Alright gamers, we've covered the bulk of the gameplay here, so now I want to play a fun little game where you get to guess the cost of something in Sims and then the cost of it in Paralives. This is gonna be so fun and really sad. First up, seasons and weather. Sims, $40. Paralives, free. Number 2, pets. Sims, $40. Paralives, free. Number 3, holidays. Sims, $40. Paralives, free. We also have horses, $40. Restaurants, $20. Bunk beds, $20. And schools, another $40. We're already at a $240 difference, and we haven't even covered the cost of the original game. And there are a bunch of other random cool things, like the fact it will be open world, so that means not half as many loading screens. You can just swivel over to the neighbor's house. That was a big complaint in The Sims 4. Going anywhere would take you upwards of 15 seconds, and Lord knows nobody has the attention span for that anymore. There's also plans to have cars, multiple worlds, mod support, boat houses, and toilet paper, where you can choose the direction it faces. Good stuff. Really good stuff. It's confirmed that at least at launch there's nothing supernatural that will be in the game, and there won't be a first-person camera or active school or job systems. It is a bummer that work and school will be rabbit holes like we talked about earlier, but can you imagine all the mini-games that would have to be added for all the different careers? Maybe there's a happy medium that can be found there, but I don't really care too much about it. I'm still glad we'll be saving $240 on everything, so. We don't know how much the game itself will cost, but the developers have made it very clear there will be 0 paid DLC and only free updates. I honestly think that the dedicated fans of this game wouldn't mind paying for DLCs if it wouldn't be more than like a third of the cost of the base game, but that's awesome that they've got enough support from their Patreon that they're able to do that. If you want to support the project, it's all through Patreon, but you can also join their Discord to get monthly updates on all their new development. The studio's transparency has been key to their funding, let me say. So take notes if you're crowdfunding your own game here. Don't pull an Omori, keep your people in the loop, and it'll pay off. But with the brightest of news here, we do know that early access will deploy in 2025, which feels very far away, and it is, but it's not.
Okay.
It's been in development since January of 2019. I've watched it grow since maybe late 2021, and it's been so cool following the updates, watching more and more people get hyped about it, and seeing what is so clearly going to become a thriving indie title one day. And it's also really cool, as kind of an aspiring game developer here, to watch how the dream of one person slowly becomes the dream of multiple people. It started with just Alex Mass by himself, and then he began hiring more and more people, more animators, more artists, more programmers, once the game got more funding through Patreon and he was able to afford it. Patreon even lets you see like the monthly contributions going to a project, and I think Paralives is at like 40,000 a month, which is amazing, and it shows you how far your dream can go if you're committed and you're good at marketing. But anywho, I make content exclusively about indie games like this one and game development because I love to see dreams like this come to fruition. It's the pinnacle of human creativity, and if you want to see more of it, then let me be your gateway into the indie world by hitting the subscribe button. I'm never gonna feel comfortable saying that. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon either here on YouTube or my Twitch or the Discord, all of which will be in the description. Bye!